Hey friends, so I'm back in my office, but using the DSLR again like I used when I was in the kitchen the other day, just in case, I don't know, maybe the difference in quality of video makes a difference to somebody. But the other day I caught a distinction. I was listening to some interviews with people from the Gates Foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates mega charity group. And they made a distinction that I thought was actually a pretty handy clarification that we hear sometimes this confusion about disagreement and different valid perspectives on how many of your goals should you be trying to attain, or put another way, what percentage of a given goal do you consider the success bar? And this is not as straightforward as it sounds, because it might seem like, well, you want to set yourself up for success, you want to give yourself clear, actionable goals, so 100% should be the goal, right? But I've also heard from a number of business people. Development director who's Electronic Arts first taught me this. I later heard it from a guy who is a very successful kind of a vending machine business line of manufacturing. And in both cases, they said they always try to set their goals about 85% success. That if they were hitting 100% of their goals and they weren't clear on how much more they could have stretched or moved or gone for, that 85 to them felt like a comfortable sign that, and obviously you're not predicting exactly which 85%, but it lets you know you're stretching yourself and continuously trying to make improvement. And heck, I've heard numbers as low as, I think it was from a different interview, might have been with IBM or something, 70% is sometimes the bar for, okay, you're meeting your objectives, you've done enough of them. But what the Gates Foundation interview pointed out was that there's a difference between a mission and an objective. And while it's not quite the same, we can think of mission here a little bit like mission statement, in that the mission might be somewhat aspirational. The mission might not be something that is 100% achievable ever. The mission might be something that is directional. Or I like to use, my example, my compass, as to, okay, well, the whole point for having articulated this intended, this desired vision, this possible purpose or future, is purely to get ourselves moving that direction. Acknowledging that we may discover something else of interest along the way, that we might benefit in some other, basically it's going to get us to move. It's going to make real clear when there's a decision of which way to go, that way, because it's in direction and alignment with our mission. Mission, in contrast, from this interview, with objective. Where objective, as stated from the Gates Foundation, was a really important thing to have 100% achievable. A clear goal with a clear, actionable, concrete steps for how to achieve it. And I really like that distinction because it gives us a space for both, rather than trying to say, should we try to get 100% of our goals or 70% of our goals? Or it seems like a silly question to some out there who don't grapple with these questions. But when you're self-directing your work, when you are piloting the boat that you're in and you're not just able to kind of have tasks handed to you from a professor or a boss or some other situation. So a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with this kind of stuff. It's, I think, a really useful thing to recognize there's value in both and to distinguish mission, which again is like directional, from objectives, where you really are aiming to hit 100% of those if it's identified as an objective. And it helps keep us grounded, it helps keep us in reality when we're setting up the objectives to serve that mission. So, real simple distinction. I thought it super helpful. It's helping me in sort of planning out some work that I'm doing right now. I want to pass it on to y'all, as I always do. Hopefully the camera change, I don't know, maybe makes no difference whatsoever. But like I say, easy enough for me to try for a day. I'll see if I stick with it or if I switch back to the webcam. Certainly the webcam is more convenient. I actually got myself a cable to try to be able to use this directly as if it's a webcam. This fancier DSLR, it's just a Nikon. I got it used 8 years ago for taking cloud pictures. But I've tried to get a cable to be able to use it as a webcam. I got that working on my PC, but most of my video editing is done on my Mac. And as I mentioned before, there's compromises that I'm willing to make if it makes it easier to keep up daily content. Because to me, consistency is important. To me, that outlet, that routine is important. So anyway, I'll see if I can get that working on the Mac still at some point. But so far, I don't know. Even if it involves an extra step or two, maybe it's worth it. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.